Breaking tonight, the terror suspect Daniel Khalif still on the loose after escaping from Wandsworth prison yesterday morning. Khalif was working in the prison's kitchen when he is believed to have absconded by strapping himself to the underside of a food delivery van. Justice Secretary Alex Chalk announced that an independent investigation into the incident will take place, adding Daniel Khalif will be caught. But the Labour Shadow Minister, fresh in her job, Shabana Mahmood, said that sort of rivaled Keir Starmer really for political opportunism as she tried to pin the prison break on Rishi Sunak personally. Watch.
I think the government has very serious questions to answer. We know that the criminal justice system, after 13 years of Tory government, is in a state of disrepair. We know that there are huge problems with prisons and prison places in particular. And as we've seen, there is now a terror suspect on the loose, having escaped from Wandsworth prison. So big questions for the government to answer. Frankly, Rishi Sunak needs to get a grip.
Well, one woman who knows just how serious the situation is the former Prisons Minister, Anne Widdecombe. But Anne, isn't this just out-and-out irresponsible political point scoring to directly try and blame the Prime Minister rather than actually look at why this man escaped?
Indeed, it's utterly irresponsible. It's also slightly farcical. I imagine anybody actually watching that interview would begin to laugh. Because she doesn't even start to make the case. Everybody knows what happened. He strapped himself to the under part of a vehicle and it went out through the prison gates, and nobody on its way out of the prison gates put mirrors underneath or looked underneath or conducted any of the normal searches. It is straightforwardly down to the officers on duty, possibly to their supervisors if they didn't ensure that discipline didn't get lax in terms of these searches, but no way does it reach even the director of the prison service, let alone a minister and let alone the Prime Minister. Now, I don't usually stand up for Rishi Sunak, but this is just blatant electioneering. She's irresponsible. I know she's only been in the job 5 minutes. She should be out within 5 minutes as well.
Yeah, totally. Couldn't agree more. And from your perspective as Prisons Minister, what would you be doing in a situation like this?
Well, first of all, of course, there should never have been any possibility that a car could either come or go, it could both ways, without a search. Because when it's coming in, it could be bringing in drugs. You don't know what it could do. So there should always be searches in both directions. That is not difficult to do. I mean, it's not as if prison gates are a big major public thoroughfare where you'd cause an enormous problem by holding up cars. I mean, rubbish. It's easy to do. And I think in this sort of situation, I mean, obviously the priority will be to try and catch the man. But in this sort of situation, I would simply be asking the Director General, I would be asking the senior people in the prison service to inquire of the governor why it isn't routine in that prison to search vehicles. It's not an open prison. It's not even a Cat C trainer. It's a seriously secure prison, allegedly.
Allegedly, indeed. Look, time now for Widdy's War on Woke. And Doctor Who star David Tennant is to appear in a new adaptation of Gilly Cooper novel Rivals, where he will play a media mogul cheering on the late, great Margaret Thatcher. But Tennant must be acting through gritted teeth, because speaking previously, this is what he had to say.
When I started working in theatre in England, I would meet people and they would say, "Oh, I voted for Margaret Thatcher." The first time I heard someone saying that, I honestly thought they were joking. I'd be thinking, I have never met anyone from your world. What's it like? Do you roast children over open fires? I still find it impossible to believe that anyone in the arts votes Conservative.
Now, Anne, you say Tennant is a bigot for those views.
Yes, he's a complete bigot. He doesn't believe that anybody in the arts should vote Conservative. An awful lot of them do. And I've talked to a lot of them, stage, screen, writing. I've talked to an awful lot of people in the arts. And many of them tell me that it was Thatcher who enabled their parents to buy their council house and thus started the family on the property ladder. And people have actually said that to me. They've said, Mrs. Thatcher did things for me. And if this man can't understand that, then, he's an intelligent man. So it's not that he can't understand it because he's thick. He can't understand it because he's too bigoted to want to understand it.
I mean, do you roast children over open fires? I mean,
well, I take that.
This is ludicrous, though. It's ludicrous language, though, Anne, isn't it? I know he's not using it literally, but come on.
Yeah, I agree. It's inflammatory language and it's silly language. He didn't mean it literally, and I'm not going to get into an uproar about that metaphor. What I'm disgusted at is that he, who, parades as a liberal and as somebody who understands the arts and all these things, he simply can't understand that there might be any view other than his own. And that is the very definition of a bigot.
Yeah. And of course, actually, this is why people in the entertainment industry, Anne, are too scared to speak out publicly on issues that are actually really important and that deserve debate, like trans rights, like puberty blockers for kids. Because if they do, look at what's happened to Roisin Murphy, look at what's happened to Alice Cooper. They are cancelled immediately, and it's because of people like David Tennant.